Well, guys, here we go. Video number one, YouTube. Finally, I've thought about it a lot. I had a couple of YouTube channels when I was streaming. I was streaming on Mixer before. I was streaming on Twitch, and I decided, you know what? That's enough after about 6 to 7 years, and I decided to just focus on myself. It's a real mind bender to be streaming to people. It is weird. It is weird because you never make any real friends. I'm not here to make friends on YouTube. I'm here to talk about my life. I'm here to talk about the world. I'm here to talk uh, to young people and give them a little bit of advice. So no feedback, which is weird because on Twitch you get feedback. You get people coming, making comments as you play, as you talk, right? And I felt that in all those years, I never really made any friends. People would come and go. It was all about the game. We stream in Flight Sim. People would come by. I give them advice about becoming a pilot because that's what I did for my life. One of the couple careers that I had. And then they go, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. So we get into these big conversations about how you do it. And then they never come back. As soon as I played something else, that was it. So then I never found out. Did they become pilots? Did they not? But that's not what this channel is about. This channel is purely about me blurring about my life, vlogging, and maybe giving you guys a little bit of advice. So I'm just turned 60 last year in September. And it went fast, guys. It was one of those things I would never, ever imagine turning 60. I don't feel 60. That's a problem because you still think you can ride a skateboard. You still can, ride a one wheel, which I do. You still ride a UC, which I sometimes do. And I told that to my doctor. I said, God, sometimes I just don't feel 60. I love enjoying riding my one wheel. And he goes, you got to be careful, son. You might break a hip. So, anyway, so yeah, now I ride it a little bit more careful after I banged up my two elbows. No elbow pads, of course. And then I also curb nudged it and had a couple of bruised ribs, and one of them was fractured. So, got to be more careful with it, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, 60. I'll be 61 this year. And I'm here on YouTube now, and I hopefully can encourage you guys, can encourage myself to feel okay about myself. That's a big one. I have been struggling with depression. I have been struggling with PTSD over the years, and I'm hoping to get out of this. Finally, I've had a really tough couple of years, but I do hope that this will help me get out of myself, get into who I was or who I wanted to be. And hopefully, this vlogging journey will help with that. The other thing is, I will talk about the fact that old people or older people like me always talk about the past. Why is that? Well, because we don't look forward to the future. And it sounds crazy, but I remember my dad telling me that. My dad was, he was born in 1917. He was a World War II veteran. He was a doctor in World War II. He spent 2 years in an American POW camp. And I mean, he had stories that I wish he would have shared with me because everybody's life is unique, especially, people that went through World War II, World War One, Vietnam, all that stuff. We should talk to those guys more because those stories will be gone. I think D-Day celebration this year is the last D-Day celebration that they're going to have because basically the veterans are not there anymore. And so the stories are dying. The stories of the Vietnam vets. These guys are in their 70s now. Talk to them. I mean, I'm in Canada, but if you know somebody, the old guy around the corner there, he was in Vietnam. Talk to him. What was his life like? Get some stories. Any older person has stories, and again, this is hopefully something that I can get across. My biggest regret, like I said, is not talking to my dad about the war much, but he didn't want to talk about it. Let's put it that way. I don't think there's too many guys that want to talk about that experience. But I should have been more persistent. I would have gotten to know him better, and I would have understand everything a little bit better. So that's one thing I regret. My advice to the younger generation, I have two for today, and then we'll get more into the rest. Number one is respect yourself. And that's a big one because we are taught to respect your parents, your grandparents, your teachers, the guy that brings the mail, but we are never, ever taught to respect ourselves. And that is such a big one, guys. The younger people that I see today, they are struggling. They are struggling with a lot of things, and we'll get into that later. But I think the main reason why so many young people are struggling is because they have never been taught the self respect. You have accomplished a lot. Every person has accomplished a lot. And this is probably what we're going to get into the first real video here. And that is something we have to realize. We have to talk about, how do you look at your life? What do you think of yourself? Why do you put yourself down? All these things are extremely important. And I think that's going to be my first full-length video. The other thing is that I want, that was number one, respect yourself. And number two is I forgot. And this is what happens. Oh, I think what's number two? I gotta make a script here. I think number two was the fact that older people like me, we always talk about the past. We never talk about the future. Like when I sit here and think about it, I am thinking about when I was 18. I think about the summer of 1986. I think about my university days. I think about when I worked in Europe from 1990 till 96. I do not think about my future because in my mind, I don't have a future. And this is the thinking of an older person. Now, have you ever realized grandpa always talks about the old days? Dad always talks about the old days. Mom talks about the old days. That is why we cannot see the future anymore. Even though I try to see the future, I try to concentrate on my trip to Japan in August. I try all these different things, but yet my mind will always look at the past. And that's intriguing. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to talk about the way I think. I want to relate that to you guys, old and young, and then maybe we can come to a conclusion how we can have a mind that thinks more positive. And that's definitely something everybody needs, especially myself. So anyways, guys, this is just a quick intro. Like I said, I just made the channel today out of nowhere because I miss streaming. I don't miss streaming. I miss being creative. I miss talking. I don't know if I miss streaming because it was, in the end, it was not good for my mental health, let's be honest. And so hopefully we can make some sense of it. Let me turn this off. We'll upload it and then we'll see you next time. Hopefully you guys stick around. Thank you very much.